Hey everyone, it's Rajiv and welcome to my channel Rajiv's Reviews. In this video, I'm going to be doing a book review of one of my favorite authors when I was growing up, and that is none other than Christopher Pike, and the book is Witch. Firstly, before I even get into the synopsis of the book, I want to talk about this cover. I realize it looks a little tattered because it's a second-hand copy and I don't even remember when I got this book. But I just realized it's a first edition book of the paperback, so I feel like I'm holding a little something special in my hands right now. Although I don't think it's actually worth anything. I don't even think there were any hardcovers published for these books initially when they had released in the 80s and the 90s. I think they used to directly release them as paperbacks itself. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I love the cover of this book so much because it has such a creepy, campy 80s style to it, which you actually just don't find in new books these days. But I don't think the scene that you see in the cover actually takes place in the storyline because I don't even know who that black person behind Julia is supposed to be. Maybe it's her aunt? I don't know, but yeah, I don't recall reading the scene anywhere. Okay, so coming to the synopsis, the story is about a 17-year-old girl named Julia who also happens to be a witch, but she is a good witch and she does lead a normal life with her friends Amy and Scott. So Julia's mom recently passed away and Julia usually takes a walk in the woods, which is right behind her house, which eventually leads to this pond that she usually sits by to get a peace of mind. But because she's a witch, when she looks into the pond, she can also see the lives of others depending on who she sets her mind on, and can see what is happening anywhere in the world. Julia usually does this during the day because her mother has always warned her not to look into the pond at night. But one day Julia accidentally looks into the pond after nightfall, and she sees a horrible premonition of one of her friends dying in her arms, and she also sees the face of the killer in the premonition. So the rest of the story progresses as to how Julia tries to stop the premonitions from coming true. Do you ever get that feeling after you have finished reading a book where you just sit still for a few minutes and you are in complete awe because you're still trying to absorb all the emotions that the story has given you? I had that exact same feeling after I finished reading Witch because I absolutely loved this book. So I have never really read this book before at all, and I was surprised that I still had this with a bunch of other Christopher Pike novels sitting in my bookshelves. And I don't even remember when I got it or how long it's been there. So I just picked it up in a whim just to pass the time in the afternoon, and I couldn't put it down, and I finished it in one sitting itself. The main character Julia is so strong and independent, but she is also very mysterious and careless and confused, not to mention the fact that she also has magical powers. So you just cannot help but root for her and find out what she does next. But not just Julia, this is one of those rare books where I actually liked all the supporting characters as well, whether it be Amy or Scott or Jim or Randy. It's really hard to dislike any of them because they're kind of quirky and charming in their own manner. I mean, sure, this is a Christopher Pike teen novel, so it has your stereotypical jock and your brainiac and the cheerleader and the good-looking girl, but it's not very strongly emphasized in the plot. The main thing that usually irks me about Christopher Pike novels is that it usually starts off really well and it's very interesting in the beginning, but somewhere in between the author goes into this completely different tangent. So his books will usually start off with a mystery or a suspense about a murder or a missing person or something, but then right in between it will completely shift focus and it will start talking about science fiction and the cosmos and life and death and the afterlife and whatnot. But this book did not have any of that. It had a strong storyline with very consistent pacing and there were a lot of suspense and thriller moments in it, but it also blended well with a lot of heartwarming and touching scenes. And it also talked a little bit about morality and what is good and bad, and a little bit about the afterlife, but it was done in a very nice manner that gave it a very profound feel to it. Probably the only thing that threw me off a little bit in this book was Julia's love for Jim and Scott. So at times she has strong feelings for Jim, but then at other times she has strong feelings for Scott. And I don't know, this sudden change was just kind of out of the blue for me. But this is definitely one of the better Christopher Pike novels, and in fact I would put this in my top 3 along with Whisper of Death and The Road to Nowhere. So overall I would give this book a rating of 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you have read this book and if you like my review, please like and comment on the section below. Or if you are a Christopher Pike fan like me, do share some of your favorite novels of his in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you like my videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.